What is up, guys? It's been a hot second since I've done a video like this before. I don't really do through the mail autographs anymore because you can never really tell with authenticity, so I've been sticking to getting my autographs in person. That being said, being that I wrote for 3 years pretty consistently just to give me something to do during quarantine, I have a handful that I have to show you today that I've gotten in the recent months, and some successes I think are really cool. I think you guys will really enjoy them, so let's get right into what I have. First up, we have a husband and wife success representing two movies that were very important in my childhood. Michael McKean from the live action remake of A Year Without a Santa Claus. He played Snow Miser, believe it or not. This is maybe not the best movie of all time, but one that was very important to me as a kid. He wrote To Cameron Burr and then signed. And then we also have Annette O'Toole from the It 1990 miniseries, one of my absolute favorite Stephen King adaptations. I loved it more than the remake. I think the remake is scarier, but I think the scariest thing about Pennywise the Clown, especially from the 1990 adaptation, is that he's not necessarily horrifying and it's more believable, and you can see why kids get killed by him. I wrote to her in, I believe, 2020, and him in maybe 2022. You can kind of tell that it's two different periods because this is a glossy photo and this is a matte. I preferred to get the matte photo signed because they smudge less. But they responded in the same envelope, so they kind of pieced together, hey, the same person wrote to us, and so I'm very happy with this success. Next up is another person that I wrote to early in my fan mail days, and you can kind of tell by the inexperience it was not the best item to get signed. I sent a DVD of the movie Deep Blue Sea, one of my absolute favorite horror movies. I think it's really the only shark movie since the original Jaws that isn't just the worst thing ever. She signed right there, and she even included this little slip to go with it. I sent the DVD just raw, I guess you can say, by itself. And she included this just to make sure it didn't break. But what was really cool, this was an international success. So she paid a lot of extra postage to send me this photo as well. I mentioned that I liked her in Law and Order. And she wrote, Cameron, thank you for your lovely letter. Warmest wishes, Saffron Burrows. I always love it when the people go above and beyond, especially with something as expensive as sending a whole entire 8x10 across the seas for me. Speaking of people going above and beyond, next we have a success from the actor Tim Stack. This is a photo from My Name is Earl. He plays a drunken parodied version of himself, Tim Stack. I have a pretty sizable My Name is Earl autograph collection. It's one of the best shows of all time. I have a yellow piece of lawyer paper signed by Jason Lee and Ethan Suplee. And this year I met Geraldo Rivera and had him signed an Inside Probe photo. Those who know the show know exactly what that is. I just sent him this photo. What was awesome is he paid for extra postage and sent me this 8x10 headshot that I've had hanging up for a while. He wrote, Cameron, ride the big one, and then signed Tim Stack. I always love getting these promotional photos, courtesy of FX, sorry, my bad. And really awesome they went above and beyond for this one. This next one is extra special to me, considering that this actor was just announced to be returning as Nightcrawler in Avengers Doomsday. That is Alan Cumming. I had him sign two photos from one of my all-time favorite movies, Reefer Menace. I feel like I'm saying favorite a lot today, but what can I say? I just had a very fruitful few months. He wrote on both photos, hello, Cameron, and then signed. Those who haven't seen this movie, I've said it in every video that I've mentioned it, and I'm still going to say it. Watch it. It's an absolute gem. I just checked the date on this next one. I wrote to this actor November 13th of 2020 and only got it back a few months ago. And that is actor Peter Horton from the movie Children of the Corn. I have seen a lot of people absolutely trash this movie. Maybe it's the nostalgia. Maybe it's because I saw it when I was a kid, but I've always loved it. I've always thought the kids were very well utilized. They were really fucking scary, I always thought. He signed this photo and also wrote me a letter apologizing for the delay, saying, Cameron, so sorry this has taken so long. You may have even outgrown your love for these movies, but in the off chance this is still meaningful to you, please accept with apologies. Best, Peter Horton. And to you, Peter Horton, I say, there's no way I'm ever going to outgrow these movies. Thank you so much for responding, and I always love getting personal stationery. This next one had 13-year-old Cameron screaming with absolute excitement, and that is a success from Jason Ritter. He wrote on the back of my envelope, thank you for your letter, and also took a long time signing this photo. Look at all, he drew doodles, he drew quotes, he drew character name and everything. What a great success. All of that stuff on this little 4x6 photo. Love you, dude. He wrote, for Cameron, the truth is out there, heart, exclamation point, drew the Dipper symbol, signed Jason Ritter, Dipper, drew an arrow, and then also wrote a little message, Bill lives, very cryptic, fits the show. One of my favorite photos, I have this hanging up. I don't usually hang up my 4x6 photos, but this is just such a great one from such a great guy. It's hard to miss that opportunity. So this last through the mail response isn't a traditional one, but I think it's absolutely worth sharing, and it's probably my favorite through the mail response I've ever gotten in my 5 years of doing this. I am a huge fan. I shouldn't even say that. My favorite piece of fictional media of all time is the TV show Malcolm in the Middle. And as you may know, they're doing a reboot. And I wrote a letter to the production company stating that I'm a really big fan and I'm really excited for the remake coming out. They sent me this nice letter back, but what was awesome is on top of that, they also sent me this crew hat that's embroidered Malcolm in the Middle on the front, and on the back it says "Life's Still Unfair." And not only did they send me this, but they also sent me a sweatshirt that I will insert a picture of here to promote. I think this was something that the crew wore on set, you know, like they have crew jackets and stuff like that. And now I have two of my favorite pieces of clothing in my entire wardrobe. So, not an autograph, but I would argue even better than I could imagine. So, unbelievably grateful to the team, and this just makes me infinitely more excited to see the show. But with that, that's all the recent fan mail successes that I've gotten. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.